Hey guys, welcome to the first day of the journaling course. Really excited to get started, and I hope you are too. Today I want to start by telling you how I approach journaling and how I've kind of evolved in terms of the way that I help people set goals. So a couple of years ago I used to run goal setting workshops, and the premise of the workshop was that over the course of the day we'd set 10 different goals. We looked at different areas of life, from health to career, finances, contribution and adventure, as well as relationships. And again, we'd set 10 goals over the course of the day. What I found would happen though was people would look around them at what other people were writing down because they weren't able to come up with their own inspiration. They weren't giving themselves enough space and enough time to really think about what they wanted. And so they'd either look to the person next to them and look at what they were writing down and think they should write similar, or they'd go back to their past. In other words, if they'd ran a 5K in the past, they'd think in that same way and they'd say, instead of running a 5K, maybe I'll run an 8K. Inspiration is spirit from within. It's something different to motivation. Motivation is that temporary thing we get when maybe we see a film or a documentary or read a book. Inspiration requires time with yourself. And so when it comes to the journaling, I'm going to encourage you to give yourself plenty of time, as much as you can. You can revisit these questions over time and I'm sure you'll get different answers, but don't rush through the process. If you were to get the full program today and have 30 questions, the worst thing in the world you could do would be go through every question right now. Because again, time and space is required to really get the value from this. About a year ago, I was on a mountain in Russia. I like climbing mountains, and it was 2 weeks in a tent. Whilst I was there, I had no technology, so no phone, none of the kind of everyday distractions I would have at home. And the first couple of days there, I started having this feeling from within, a voice from within that was saying, you know, you need to simplify your life when you get home. We've all got that voice, but oftentimes there's so much distraction and noise coming in from the outside world that we don't hear the voice. So as the trip went on and I was longer and longer on the mountain, this voice got louder and louder and louder. And what was happening was I was giving myself space away from the distractions of life. Now, how this might apply to you is that, you know, when you start writing down in your journal, if you are to write for 5 minutes and then get distracted by your phone or get distracted by your kind of day-to-day living and leave the journal and step away from it, you've opened up a little bit of space, but you've very quickly fallen back into old patterns. If you were to sit there for 10 minutes, you're going to open up more insights, sights from within. You're going to come out with more wisdom. And the longer you leave it to a certain degree, 15, 20 minutes, you're really going to start coming up with ideas that you've never considered before, and you're going to amaze yourself. The way that I look at this is it's like being offline or online. I said in one of the videos before, in the intro video, that 95% of the thoughts that we have today are the same as yesterday, but oftentimes we expect different results. So if you think about being offline on a phone or a laptop, when the internet dies, all you can access is the stuff that's been there before, the websites you've been on or the apps that you've used. You can't access anything new. And it's the same for us when we're busy and we don't give ourselves space. We're offline effectively. We can only access our old thought patterns, our existing environment. We can't access new wisdom, new insights, new perspectives. So really what we're trying to do over the course of the next 30 days is go online, tap into the universe or whatever you want to call it, and get that wisdom that comes from space and from listening to your inner voice. So with that being said, try to give yourself at least 15 minutes today on this first journaling question. And the question I'm going to have you explore is, what does success look like to you? And specifically, the way I'd like you to look at this is to answer the question, what would I have to accomplish in the next 12 months for me to feel like I had a really successful year? What would I need to accomplish in the next 12 months to feel like I had a really successful year? So consider different areas of your life, the areas that are most important to you. Some of the things you might want to consider are your health, your fitness, the way that you eat, the way that you train. You might want to consider your relationship with yourself and the feelings you have about yourself, as well as the relationships with other people. You might want to think about your career, how you're going to develop within your career, maybe a career change or starting a business, your finances. It could literally be anything. But if you were to fast forward 12 months from now, how would you know you'd been successful? What would you have achieved? What would you have learned? How would you have grown? Now, the reason I asked you to explore this question as a starting point is that, you know, oftentimes I give seminars, and if I was to ask at the front of a room, who wants to be successful in this room? Every hand in the room would no doubt go up. That's normal. But if I was to follow up very quickly and say, give me your definition of success, I think a lot of people would struggle. So oftentimes if we don't have our own definition of success, we're looking outside of ourselves and we assume that other people have got it figured out. If you've ever had the experience of going after a goal and achieving the goal only to feel a little bit empty or unfulfilled, that's probably a result of chasing someone else's definition of success. So again, the prompt for today, 12 months from now, what would you have to have achieved in order for you to feel like you had an incredibly successful year? So again, give yourself at least 15 minutes, as much time as you can, distraction free, set up that space where you can go comfortably. Maybe it's within your home and you just set off an area where you can do your journaling and meditation practice. Maybe you're going to go to a coffee shop or somewhere where you're comfortable and inspired, but make sure that you prioritize this and make it something special for you. This is your first day of journaling, a chance to really get to know yourself on a deeper level. We're going to do that consistently over the next 30 days, and I know you're going to love the program. Speak to you soon.